Hello everybody, this is Omega Shenron with another comic book video here, and we're going to talk about Thanos. He's definitely my favorite character in comics, and I've had a long love affair with him. I discovered him through Warlock and Silver Surfer comics I was reading. So let's get into it. I guess we're going to title this like the Tao of Thanos, or Thanos Exposed. So here's some cool stories you might want to pick up if you really like Thanos or you want to know more about his backstory. And this, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Seeing one of your favorite characters depicted in a movie, but overall, I think they depicted him well. I just think that they tried to shoehorn too much into those two movies, and they could have done a lot more backstory. I mean, just these stories right here could have been a good two movies. And this story here is just kind of an inquest into, shows you how he even figured out what the Infinity Stones were. Like, they never really allude to that. They never tell you. It's cool. Definitely read this. There's actually a volume 1 and volume 2. This is the condensed version. So it's two books usually, but I found this. I don't know. I haven't seen too many of these, so you probably have to get book 1 and book 2 that are cool books, but they're cheap, so it's just a good read. So this is a story telling you how gets the stones, and it's not anything like the movies, so it's a completely different story. And it kind of leads into this. This is kind of Thanos' return. This is a book that I was actually reading growing up. I was getting this as it was coming out, and several copies of it. So this is really good stuff. And it starts Starlin's run on Silver Surfer. And so there's just some really great art and stories in this. Starlin really, hits his stride here. This is his best ongoing book by far. I think this is the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm not sure. Pretty sure. You got Drax in there, Silver Surfer, the Ron Lim art. It's just good. It's just standard fare, which leads to Silver Surfer 50, and kind of the revelation that Thanos has attained the Infinity Gauntlet and is coming. So this is definitely one of my favorite covers ever. It's there's nothing really spectacular about it. I just love it. It's just really good. Which leads us to the Infinity Gauntlet, and this is actually, I think this is George Perez signed edition I got years ago. Oh, the glare is terrible, huh? And this book, it's 6 issues, open and shut. My favorite, all-encompassing saga thing here. And this is definitely one of the most iconic covers ever produced. So definitely go read this if you haven't. Most people have. And after that, you get the Infinity War. This was cool. I mentioned this in one of my other videos. This is more interesting for the fact that you get to see Thanos kind of be a good guy, and you get to expand upon Adam Warlock and Thanos' kind of symbiotic relationship. They're always kind of intertwined and actually become friends. This is, Adam Warlock is probably Thanos' only friend. Which leads to the Infinity Crusade. These are all Jim Starlin, Ron Lim. This is not really Thanos' story. He's in there to a lesser effect, but this is more about Adam Warlock. But it's good. It's a good read. 6 issues, open and shut. This is one of my favorite Thanos stories ever. Starlin's just really good at enticing you, blowing your mind, and ending the story in 6 issues. That's just what he should do. It's just like his purpose on Earth is to give you an open and shut case for a great story that leaves you just like exhausted, and then ends the story very well. So this is a story about Thanos and Galactus is in here. I mean, it's just like it's like big sandbox. Like they could do anything, they could kill anyone, anybody could die, anything could happen, and it's just fun. It's just fun. It's just fun. I mentioned this in one of my other videos. The end. This is maybe my third favorite Thanos story, and it's Jim Starlin, Al Milgrom, standard comic book fare. There's nothing too spectacular about this. There's nothing groundbreaking or anything like that about it. It's just standard comic book fare. I mean, you can see some of the stuff. Some of the art's a little bit wonky, but it's Al Milgrom. He's old school. That's what you get. You're getting standard comic book fare. Just a quick story, 6 issues, open and shut, blow your mind, goodbye, and they succeeded here. So, and this is actually kind of a cool. Surprisingly, Simone Bianchi art, and actually really liked it. Actually, liked a lot of it. It kind of goes through Thanos's backstory on how Mistress Death has been, over his shoulder, since he was a kid, kind of molding him and shaping him into, you know, her avatar of death. And this was kind of a cool retailer variant that I picked up. Here's another book. I think this is volume 1 for Jim Starlin. I actually have a CGC signed one of this, and I think it's like 15 issues. I wish it would have went for forever, but this is more Jim Starlin, Al Milgrom, wonderful art, fantastic stories, good stuff. And in that run, this was one of the big issues. This is actually the first appearance of the Fallen One, I believe, who was Galactus's first herald. And there's some cool stuff here. I think this is leading into Annihilation, or I'm not sure. And here's Donny Cates's Thanos run from last year. It was good. It was a good story. But I'm still partial to the Ron Lim variant that I bought here. And here's another one of the Cates run variants I bought, which I thought, the appearance of Cosmic Ghost Rider is awesome. And this was one of the variants I picked up. Here's actually, I tried to put these in chronological order. This Thanos run was actually the last one. This was Hickman's Infinity run, and I picked up this Kubert sketch variant. It's really cool. And this silly variant I bought. But I actually bought this at Xanadu up in Seattle. A shop that actually closed down last year. A really nice guy. Feel bad for him. But I bought this, and I love it. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about was just, the end of this book. It's the end of this story is just so awesome to me. I really love Thanos. I really love his stories. He's just an amazing character, and I feel like he's a great villain because he's more than just a villain. He's not just a murderous psychopath. He has reasons for his philosophy. He has reasons. He was abused. He is deformed. The way he looks is not normal. He was ridiculed and abused, and his mother tried to kill him when he was born. She's seen his face. Like the guy has got he's got reasons for his philosophy, and he's a deep character. For all of his, he's an immortal. He's an eternal. He's descended from Olympian gods. He is an avatar of death. He's a titan. He's all of these things, and he is still flawed. He is still limited by his own capacities. And, he understands. He knows that for all of his defeats and all of his mistakes, that, you know, he's the common denominator in all of those things. Like his own self-esteem or lack thereof, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, has kept him from attaining omnipotence and wielding it. Um, and you know, he's had Mistress Death. He's had his, you know, that he's everything he's done leading up to the Kate story and stuff, where they don't talk about Mistress Death. He's done it all for her. You know, she's the only one that showed him kindness. She's the only one that, you know, made him feel important because his role as an avatar of death. But on top of it, she's always scorned him. She's always hurt him. She's always, you know, really kind of done him wrong. And at the end of this story, you get to see him finally get that which he deserves. You know, some happiness. Some people maybe can't think about Thanos as actually being happy, but look at him. He's happy. He finally gets to embrace and hold his woman and kiss her and have some good come into his life. And it just, you know, it almost brings you to tears to think that, you know, even bad people deserve good. You know, and he does. He's a great character, and, you know, there's some stories here that I think you would like too, but this is just, you know, just an amazing end to the book where Thanos finally gets to have something good, and I really love it. I would love to buy this page, just the inks. I'd cherish it forever. But it's just a really cool ending to the story where the bad guy wins, and the bad guy, you know, gets his prize, and ultimately his prize is love. So these are some really great stories. You know, some really great stories. If you want to learn about Thanos' backstory, I would probably start here. This is probably what most people are interested in, kind of the story about how he got the Infinity Stones. So start with that, Thanos Quest. You can find it anywhere. None of these books are real expensive. So I hope you enjoy the video and my thoughts about Thanos. He's a really great character, and not just a villain, not just a murderer, but, you know, a bad guy who, you know, ultimately just wants to be loved. So hope you enjoy the video, and have a good day.